Oh, wait, are we not good? Oh, we are good. Okay. Sorry, my OBS was looking weird for a minute. Hey guys, CODI here with a new video, and what a video it's gonna be, huh? Where this is the third year anniversary of Can't Overdo It at this point, and I completely forgot about it until about 24 hours ago. So here I am now, after a 12-hour shift. Soon as I get home, let the dogs out, come back up, so that I can rank my top 100 fictional characters as of today. And I really wanted to do this like really unprompted, unfiltered, no script, where this is completely off the dome. There are going to be really awkward parts of this. There are going to be there's going to be ahs, there's going to be likes, and I have a habit of sometimes like I don't do it consciously, but like I'll breathe in a little bit before I talk in a video like this, and yeah, I just caught it there. But you might hear some of that. Probably gonna be talking for a while, so I do have water. Um, you might hear me drinking water because the idea here is to really not worry about like editing the audio too much. And then I think after this, I'm going to enjoy myself and play some Black Ops 2 Zombies, and I'll just put that on screen so that you guys have something to watch. I'm not gonna get all of the images like I normally would, and really, this is gonna be incredibly unprofessional. And even more unprofessional than my Google slideshow videos pretty much. And I will go a little bit into the process about like how I went about ranking these, which oh boy, we will see at some point. But yeah, so I think the only way to begin is by beginning, right? uh Ooh, should I talk about spoilers? I probably should have thought of that before. I mean, yeah, I guess. So I will say that I will potentially spoil characters. Um, I'll choose to be vague about spoilers, but I will make sure to mention the character's full name as well as the series that they are from. And if there is, because there are certain characters who I'm gonna want to spoil, so if that is one, if that happens for one particular character, then I will like directly say, "Hey, I'm about to spoil some big shit about this character." So click away if you don't wanna see it. But yeah, this list is as recent as 2 minutes ago. I just got off of my 12-hour shift, and now I have to record this so that I can, just slap the Black Ops 2 Zombies gameplay on top that you're watching now. Afterwards, I gotta, get the gameplay, obviously. So it'll be a nice way to just kind of chill out after doing this. Um, Anything else we'll just talk about it. I don't know, man. This is where having a script would be helpful because like I had some like certain talking points that I wanted to hit before I did this. Oh, top 100 series. That's the other thing I wanted to talk about. Um yes, it is still coming in 2026. Yes, the script is still coming along slowly. The Minecraft Survivor thing really stopped me from working on the top 100 script, but to be honest, I really needed it because I needed a brain break, and I had a lot of fun making that video, and I'm gonna make the player ranking next, so stay tuned for that. But what I wanted to accomplish by bringing up the top 100 series is that this is going to be very different, but there's one aspect of this that is going to kind of be helpful. Where at the end of the video, I'm going to show you guys like the process of me taking this way too seriously. Where I made a Google spreadsheet and I had like a whole system of like how I was ranking them. So I'll talk about that at the end because it'll spoil like obviously like who made the 100, or at least most of the people that made the 100. And obviously I'm not going to show you the top 100 series video version of this, but I did a similar thing when I was ranking my top 100 and top 100 series and top 100 characters. But either way, number 100. Matter of fact, I'm gonna take a drink of Coke. Oh, what the? It's loud. And apologies for any of those noises. I think it's especially weird without like having like a webcam or anything, so you can't even like see it. You just hear it. But either way, number 100 for me is Yuna from Final Fantasy X, where I'm just gonna keep it a buck with you. Um, when I said that this list was updated like 2 minutes ago earlier, it's because I added Yuna and Tidus onto the list. Probably shouldn't have said that. Oh, fuck. But it's because I added Yuna and another character from Final Fantasy X. You'll never know who it is. Onto the list because I wanted to. So if you must know, Kakadu Niimi from 99 and Mikkel Bellinger from the House of Fata Morgana both just got taken off of the list. Either way, so Yuna's a weird one because I mean, to kind of get this out of the way, I like all of these characters, obviously, where I have seen so much, so many medias, man. To where like being the low spots on this list is still like really fucking good. Um, but with Yuna in particular, I think I had a really difficult time connecting to her character for most of it, but I think that as a complete package, she's really damn good actually. Like I really like her journey, I like the pilgrimage, I like her development throughout it. I like her dynamic with a certain other character who may or may not be on the list. You'll you'll never guess. But yeah, I think I'll keep this one short, and obviously, like they should probably get longer as as they go by. But her conclusion was really good. I know that they do more with her character in 10-2. I have not played 10-2 in I don't even want to think about how long, but a long time at this point. And I did recently replay Final Fantasy X. I played it back in December of 2025, and I enjoyed it. So yeah, at number 99, I have Lilith from the non-existence of You and Me. I know Anime Experience is pogging right now if he's listening to this. But yeah, I like Lilith. I think that really Lilith kind of embodies the non-existence of You and Me series, and I'm looking forward to getting more content from her in the sequel that I haven't played yet, but I'll play it once it like fully releases and is out of like the early development or the early access, whatever the hell it's called. Um But the reality is that for me, speaking of reality, she is a worse version of a certain other character that we're not gonna talk about for a while. But yeah, I still really enjoyed Lilith a lot, and the idea that the authors really essentially like she embodies her own philosophy and she embodies the message of the game, and I find that really cool and fascinating. In 98, I have the deuteragonist of my favorite manga of all time, Nagisa Kubo from Kubo-san Won't Let Me Be Invisible. And Kubo is not a very complex character. She is not a, dare I say it, very well written character. But she is a really fun character, really just kind of a comfort character. And really, to me, similar to what I was talking about with Lilith, how Lilith kind of embodies what the authors wanted to say in her story. For me, Kubo really embodies the kind of vibe that the series itself is going for, where it's just really chill. And her slow growth into her like adulthood life, I guess. She doesn't even really go into adulthood, but you know, her maturing throughout the story is really fascinating to me, and I really love it. It's so fucking wholesome, dude. If you haven't read Kubo-san, you're missing out. At 97, I have a Durand doll from Honkai Impact Third. I'm going to mention this. This is I'm gonna mention I'm gonna spoil some stuff about Honkai Impact Third and about Durand doll in particular. If you don't want to be spoiled. Oh fuck, I was gonna say skip ahead, but I don't know if I was gonna do timestamps. Well, I guess I'm doing timestamps now. Or should I just not spoil? Oh my god. I think I'm just. I think I'll not spoil. Let me. So, yeah. I'll be vague. Um, the thing with Durandal is twofold. So one, I read her visual novel, which was pretty good. I especially liked her dynamic with Rita in it, and especially like the last like scene with Rita and Durandal. It was so peak. If you know, you know. But in the main story, I find Durandal to be just kind of okay character outside of the Spoke Apocalypse, where I mean, we'll talk about it when we talk about a certain other character that we'll be bringing up. But with Durandal, she really carries the first half of that chapter, in my opinion, and really like kind of blew my expectations away for this book Apocalypse. But yeah, I'll leave it there because well, this is not the last you'll hear about this book Apocalypse. In '96, I have Aglaya from Honkai Star Rail being my favorite Chrysosaur personally. Where I'm sure that when I made my post about like my top 10 favorite Chrysosaurs, that people were very confused about Aglaya. But here's my Aglaya defense. Number one, I find her cadence just really good. Like the way that she talks. Where I played it in the English dub, I didn't play the Japanese dub. I don't play Japanese for Star Rail. I've played it on English since I started the game, and it feels weird to do combat with the English, but or sorry, it feels weird to do the combat with the Japanese and not the English. But either way, with Aglaya, like I said, I really like the way that she talked. Very, very elegant. But I also really like the dichotomy between the Aglaya that we see and we know, and the Aglaya that we see in the backstories of other characters, particularly like Cypher, for example. Where when we see Cypher's backstory, we see Aglaya in this much more human way. Whereas in the main story, we see her more as this kind of stoic demigod, and the dichotomy between those two is something that I find really fascinating. But also, oh my gosh, there's gonna be like those awkward silences and shit. No, fuck, man. Um, but the other thing with Aglaya is genuinely like her design. Straight up, her design is awesome. But um, but yeah, she's my favorite Crisis Era. I don't have the list in front of me, but I believe it's Aglaya 1, Anaxa 2, Mighty 3, and then I can't remember if I did Castris or Cypher for 4 and 5. Oh wait, no, I did Evernight. Yeah, Evernight was in there. Shit. Um yeah, I don't have the list in front of me. But yeah, Aglaya favorite character in Amphorius for me. But not my favorite character in Star Rail because that's number 95 Kafka. I'm gonna be straight up. This is hella biased, where Kafka's been my main in like combat character, pretty much since the game came out, and she still is. My DOT team is like my only very well built team, and yeah, Kafka it's not just the combat aspect of it. I think that kind of subconsciously plays a role into why she's on this list. But also it's the fact of that I find her super fascinating in Star Rail to where for me, outside of the Trailblazer, I kind of view Kafka as like the main character of Star Rail. Like when I think of Star Rail, I think of Kafka. And for a while, I kind of had Jing Liu on a similar tier, but then I eventually just backed off of it because Jing Liu got like zero content. But Kafka, her story is still kind of drip fret. Great, now that's in the now that's in the video too. But Kafka's story kind of gets drip fed throughout the narrative, and I find the way in which they tell her story to be pretty fascinating. And I'm really looking forward to more of her reveals, especially in relation to the Trailblazer. At 94, I have a really weird one, but I have Mary Harker. Mary Harker is a character in. I just realized that my dog is in the back. Cool. Either way, Mary Harker is a character in a visual novel called Aoitori, or I think Bluebird is the English version. But I am still reading it. I've only read Mary's Route so far, and I'm currently reading Silas art. If you know about it, and also real quick, just because when the hell else am I going to be able to talk about it? The ending where like the text box when it changes and the perspective flips. Um, if you've read Aoi you know what I'm talking about. That shit threw me for a loop. But either way, Mary Harker, interesting character, fun character, kind of in the Kubo mold, but a little bit more complex. Where can I even like give away? Because there's something about Mary that is revealed super early on, but like it still feels like a spoiler, even though like she literally brings it up like you meet her. But there's a really interesting facet to Mary's character. I think that the way that it intertwines with the protagonist, particularly when the protagonist reveals happen, I think is really fascinating. And her dilemma at the beginning of her story really hooked me. And seeing her interact with the cast is just really fun and super wholesome. And definitely the standout of Aoi Tori so far for me. Holy shit, I'm gonna get some water real quick. Hopefully, um, hopefully that doesn't sound too loud. Yeah, 93 is Lily Sato from Kato wa Shoujo, and I'm actually curious. So I have a VNDB that shows me like when I played these. So let me see, Kato wa Shoujo. Oh, that's not bad. I only played it like 4 years ago. It's not bad at all. Yeah, Lily Sato is still on here. Um, Lily Sato, shockingly, by her being on this list, was pretty easily my favorite character in Kato wa Shoujo. As long ago as I played that at this point, where for a while I did have her and Hisao Nakai on here, but eventually I just kind of dropped Hisao Nakai because I just didn't think about him as much. Where with Lily, at least I still think about her character arc every now and then, even though I do still very much so attribute her arc's success to both her and Hisao. But I think it's her dynamic with Hanako. I think that's her name. I'm sorry, it's been so long, but yeah, it's her dynamic with Hanako. It's her dynamic with Hisao, and her dynamic with her sister, whose name I could Akira is what I want to say, but I could definitely be wrong, and I could be just making that up. But yeah, I like Lisato a lot still. And I look forward to eventually one day maybe considering playing Kato Shoujo again after I, you know, get through Aoitori and Higurashi and Clanad and Cyanotype Daydream. Yeah, I've got a bit of a backlog. Either way, number 92, I have a number 21. Which I'm sorry if that was confusing, from Punishing Gray Raven. And she's the first of a couple Punishing Gray Raven characters we'll talk about, but I kind of already did a video about the Punishing Gray Raven characters, which is when I would normally say, oh, well, I'm just not going to talk about it, but I'll talk about it a little bit. I think that number 21 has the best intro in PGR, where at least up to chapter 18, or at least past chapter 18. And yeah, um, oh boy, I think that's one of the problems I'm running into with doing a video like this, where I'm not scripting it and I'm planning to not edit the audio, is that like my mind will see a mistake and be like, oh fuck, I gotta correct it and then restart my thought, but also like it just keeps going, like, like so number 21, I think she has the best introduction out of any character that I've seen so far in PGR, bar maybe Alpha, because Alpha's introduction is just cool as shit. But like, as far as like introductory chapters, I think that hers is the best, where she really embodies the Inscription of Labyrinth extra story, '05, and the chapter is incredible. And part of that is because of her. I also really like her dynamic with Vera. I like her dynamic with Commandant by the end of that chapter, and her whole vibe is just like really creepy, and I kind of love it. At number 91, I have Rentaro Sumugi from Karohana. The fragrant flower blooms with dignity. Straight up, I don't think Rentaro is long for the list. I think eventually he will be falling off. Same with a few other characters here, like Aglaya and Durandal and Kuba. Like, really, like, these bottom 10 spots, like, they might all fall off at some point. I already need water again. Excuse me. This is what I get for having to record this right after work. But yeah, Rentaro, cool character. I think that the biggest issue that I have with Rentaro is a character who we will not be talking about for a while. Does what he does, but better in pretty much every way. Which we'll talk about when we get to number 36. We are far away from that. But Rentaro, cool character. I like his dynamic with Wagudi, but oh, and I like his dynamic with his parents as well. especially his mom. But again, I don't really think that there's too much to say. Just a cool guy, nice guy. At number 90, we have a name I cannot wait to attempt to pronounce. Alicia Termina Magentano from the Greatest Estate Developer. Really cool character, really rootable character, and her dynamic with Lloyd is pretty much the only reason she's here, unfortunately. But her dynamic with Lloyd is so good that I kind of feel like I had to put her on here. And the way that they both build off of each other, the way that she hints to him and he just does not pick up on it, even remotely, is hilarious to me. And really, even though she is only my third favorite character in the Greatest Estate Developer, she is still really, really good. At 89, I have BB Redden from I Love Amy. And straight up, I think this is too low. Like, just looking at this, I feel like she should be higher. But if you don't know BB Redden, you're missing out. Where she is insane, genuinely, like actually insane. But it's cool though, and it's funny. What else do I say about BB Redden? She kidnaps people. She exposes people for their social media interests, including taking a megaphone and yelling out that she's gonna expose that somebody follows like what was it, hot half naked blonde women on Instagram. I think. Peak Yuri manga though, by the way. If you never read I Love Amy, you should read it. 88, I have Auto Apocalypse, and now I can talk about the other part of Thus Book Apocalypse, where I was genuinely let down by the second half. Whereas with Durandal, I talked about how like, oh, she actually like really blew me away with Thus Book Apocalypse in the first half. Auto Apocalypse, the part that everybody talks about online, did not wow me. In fact, I was left very underwhelmed. Where Auto is really difficult for me, and we'll talk about this with the next character too. Where a lot of people really, really like Auto Apocalypse, and I get why. He's a really cool character, and I love his story throughout the narrative. I love the way that it's told. I love the fact that it's not in your face, like genuinely at all. I think that's really cool. But also, it's kind of like I don't know, man. Like I like him, I appreciate him, but also he's like by far not my favorite in Honkai Impact Third, and we'll talk about that. But yeah, I mean, I like him, but again, it's one of those things where because this is the lower part of the list, I think it's going to be misconstrued as like, oh, well, he doesn't like this character that much. No, I like all of these characters. They're all in my top 100. I've seen thousands of characters, and I don't even think I'm being hyperbolic anymore. I'm sure I've seen over 1,000, over 2,000, probably. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but my voice, like my throat, feels so fucked up, man. Fun fact though, if you need to know, I work in negative 40 degrees in a freezer. So yeah, that's what I do for a living. I work in negative 40 degrees. Um, it's really chopped my lips today too, which is perfect for recording. 87, I have Baku Madarame from Yusugoi, where I thought I was gonna spoil him, but I'm not. Baku. So let me start with Yusugoi itself, where I have a very difficult relationship with Yusugoi. I know a lot of people really like it. It's a very critically acclaimed manga, and I will say it is a very, very well deserved praise. It's an incredible manga. For the last 200 or so chapters, for the last three arcs, from Protoporos to Air Poker to Surpassing the Leader. Those arcs incredible. The rest of the manga, I didn't like it personally. It was a struggle for me to get through the first like 300 odd chapters. But Baku was a shining light. I liked Baku throughout really the entire thing. And he was the only character who I liked consistently throughout the entire thing. And now he's the only character that I even remotely think about from that series. So at least he has that going for him. And life is like a gamble. The memes are funny. And specifically, there's a panel of him like with no eyes, smiling, and he's like getting up off of his chair during the surpassing the leader stuff. Really great panel. One of my favorite manga panels, genuinely. It looks so fucking cool. And with Baku, we kind of end like this first tier of the list, I would say, where like these bottom, what is this, bottom 14 are kind of their own tier. I'll bring up like the tiers as we go. But yeah, he's probably like the top of this tier at 86. Oh boy, we got a big one. Starting off the next kind of like sub tier is Charlotte Wiltshire from Hello Charlotte, who I literally just finished the story of. Um Shit, man. There's like multiple characters here who are very difficult to talk about without spoilers. Um so I'll put it this way. The Charlotte that I'm talking about for the sake of this is the same Charlotte that we meet at the beginning of Hello Charlotte 1. If you've seen the game and you've like played through the whole trilogy, you know exactly what I'm talking about, like the reason that I specifically say that. But that's the Charlotte that I'm talking about. And Charlotte's journey is really fucking good. I think that the way that it culminates in Hello Charlotte 3 is so good. Like straight up before all of the reveals about Charlotte herself, she was not on this list. But after seeing all the reveals come through, like it changed my mind a lot on her. And if you're wondering about I mean, yeah, because this isn't going to mean anything to anybody who's never played the game. If you're wondering about Q84, Q84 is still entertaining, but I don't have Q84 as high personally. But yeah, 85 is Sanji, the goat from One Piece. Genuinely, my goat from One Piece. Sanji. I think the thing that's interesting about Sanji is that he really epitomizes my thoughts on One Piece as a whole, where Sanji is an incredibly inconsistent character. Super inconsistent. There are times where I love Sanji. There are times where I hate Sanji. I really like his more serious scenes. I hate his gag. I think his gag is super fucking stupid. But when he's good, he's really good. And I'm excited to get to Whole Cake Island because of him. But you know, we'll see. I really don't have too much to say about Sanji, and I really don't have that much to say about the next person either. And that is Ilya's Veil von Einsburn, who is here because of Hollow Ataraxia. Where in Hollow Ataraxia, we got a lot more slice of life content, including a lot of slice of life content between Ilya's Veil and Shiro. Incredible stuff. Really great stuff. Anime Ilya, not as interesting to me, but visual novel Ilya, super interesting. At 83, I have my least favorite of the main crew in Konosuba. My favorite main crew in all of fiction, by the way. But my least favorite by like a lot based on where this character is compared to the next person in the Konosuba group. But at 83, I have what seems to be like the most popular. I have Megamine, where Megamine does get a lot of focus in the light novels, but like she's not my favorite at all, to be honest. Where like genuinely, I think the gap between her and the next Konosuba character we're gonna talk about is wider than the gap between her and characters like Serena and Wiz and Vonnier. Who else? Union maybe? Yeah. But she's still really entertaining is the thing. And really, like, for me, I've gone on record and said this, I'll continue to say it. For me, my favorite main cast in fiction is the Konosuba group, where the dynamics between the four of them is genuinely just masterful. I think they all balance each other incredibly well and they all play off of each other super well. And Megamine is also part of that. Granted, her best dynamic is obviously her dynamic with Kazuma, but even then, her dynamic with Darkness is really fun. Her dynamic with Aqua, in particular, like genuinely, the Aqua Megamine dynamic might be like the least focused dynamic of any combination of those four. But it's like it's not bad by any means. It's just, you know, we just don't see it much. But yeah, Megumin, cool character design, fun character at points, and it has some really emotional scenes in the novel. Particularly, volume 16 comes to mind. The Go Wild, Oh Strongest Mage scene. If you know, you know that shit. So peak. At 82, I have another light novel character, Suzune Horikita, where, truth be told, I'm not caught up on Classroom of the Elite. I'm at year 2, volume 12. I never read 12.5. And Suzune has significantly dropped off on my list, where I think the highest I've had her was like top 20 ish. And over time, she's just slowly climbed down the list, which is natural. Obviously, you read more series, but Suzune is still my second favorite character in Classroom of the Elite. So, in my favorite character in that series, we will not be talking about for a long while. But Suzune's journey is genuinely still really good. I really like her transformation between years 1 and 2. And oh man, wrong pipe. Um he is kind of a bitch, to be honest. But I do actually genuinely find myself quoting her at points where she says that being alone is not synonymous with being lonely, which is a sentiment that I very much so personally agree with. But yeah, cool character though. This is the problem. Like, what do I say, man? I don't have a script in front of me. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. 81 is Ishmael from Project Moon. Uh, Shockingly, if you didn't watch the top 10 media of 2025 video, that this may come as a big shock to you and a spoiler for that video. I love Project Moon, and we will be talking about a not small number of Project Moon characters. And Ishmael genuinely fell down on my list a good bit, actually. Where a couple months back she was like 50s and 60s. Then I was thinking more about some of the other sinners, and I was like, oh wait, she is not in my top 4 sinners. I think I have 4. No, she's number 6. Yeah, she's my 6th favorite sinner. And genuinely, there's an argument that she's number 7, which thank God I can say 6-7 on live video. But genuinely, like there's an argument between her and another one, but yeah, Ishmael has gone down over time. I think she's incredible in her canto. I think outside of her canto, like she's still good, but just not as good. I still really like her character, but I think that the biggest issue that I have with her is that there is another character, kind of like a Rentaro Sumugi kind of thing, where really great character. However, there is another character that I have way higher on the list that kind of does her better, in my opinion. And we'll get there much later. Um Next we've got Miu Iruma from Danganronpa. And Miu is fucking hilarious. That's why she's here. Genuinely, that's why Mew is here. I find Mew hilarious every single time I go back and play the game again. I really love like watching people react to Mew because it's fucking Mew Aruma, and she really like brightens V3. I think that V3 would be a much different game without her tonally, and is there really much to say about Mew? I think that her unused sprite is hilarious, and it's genuinely tragic that we didn't get that in the game. That it could have been so good. Um, yeah, especially like because we're not talking about spoilers at all, right? So, yeah, Mew, fun character, fun character. I will say I do get if some people might be annoyed by Mew, like genuinely what I 100% understand it. And guys, hit YouTuber Horizon is messaging me right now, but don't worry, I'm not even gonna look at that message. Okay, fine, I'll look at it. What do you want me? I don't even know what the hell. He's he's definitely playing a visual novel. I don't know which one. Probably Mahoyo, because he's been talking about playing that. I don't know. Either way, thank God that's in the video too now. Yeah, I get why people wouldn't like Mew. I get that people would find her annoying. I get that people wouldn't like the content around her. I don't care. I find her fucking hilarious. 79, I have Hiro Kurusu from Kono Oto Tomare, and she's the first of a couple of Kono Oto people we'll have here. And really, like this next batch of four is an interesting group characters. Where like these next four, I'm just gonna spoil it for you. They're all like waifu type characters, and Hiro is on there. Genuinely, if I were only taking like how much I like the character into account and not like how much I appreciate the character or their character journey and all that stuff, Hero might genuinely be my favorite character, or at least my main rooting interest in Kono Ototomare. Especially like the more recent chapters. Oh my god, dude. The straight up. So Kono Ototomare is a story that is really the tale of two couples, with it being the Kuro and Satowa and the Takazo and Hiro. Even though the Satowa Kuro one is much more focused on, I prefer the Hiro and Takazo relationship. I just find it more fascinating and more fun. And yeah, Hiro, great character. 78 is Shino Kiryu from Kanajo mo Kanajo, who is buffed heavily by the island arc. The island arc is genuinely good, like really good. And it's in fucking Kanajo mo Kanajo of all things. But if you know, you know. Best girl. The definition of flat is justice. Yeah. 77 is Sakurako Busujima from Grand Blue. How the fuck did Iori fumble for his cousin? Like, I mean, to be fair, speaking of hit YouTuber Horizen, I know he agrees with Iori's choice, but he made the wrong choice. Sakurako, her character arc, really fucking good. Her relationship with Iori, or her dynamic with Iori, super fucking good. Um, yeah, just genuinely a character who is actually we'll just talk about these two in tandem. 76 is Nino Nakano. The reason I want to talk about Nino and Sakurako together is because the journey that I went on with these characters was very similar, where I fucking hated them. Genuinely, I hated them for a while, but they really won me over later on. And Nino is even a better example of this, where Nino hated her, and then like her arc happened around like the halfway point of the series, and I was such a Nino stan afterwards. But yeah, really like both of these characters, and they kind of like end this next sub tier where we are a quarter of the way done, guys. And I've been recording for 37 minutes, almost 38 minutes. So I'm gonna get another swig of Coke real quick. Can I pause on OBS? I can. I'm gonna go ahead and pause real quick so I can take a breather, and I'll get right back to it. Okay, I think we're back. Hello. That was not long at all. It took like a 2 minute break. I did ask Corey Zen if he's playing Mahoyo though. To which he didn't respond. I can't believe it. But you know, don't worry. I know you're super wondering, so I'll keep you guys posted whenever he responds. But yeah. So at number 75, don't mind to talk about. Um, we have a pretty big sub tier where I would say like 75 all the way up through 52 is probably like the next tier of characters. But yeah, number 75, I have Gregor from Project Moon. Sorry, excuse me 1 second. I'm gonna pause again so I can burp. Perfect timing because Horizon has responded to me. Yes, he's playing Mahoyo, so thank God for all all the Mahoyo stands that are watching this video. Which on the Holy Night. Congratulations, the Horizon is reading it now. Thank God. Gregor from Project Moon. I debated where to put Gregor because he's one of the two sinners who we'll be talking about in relative succession that kind of leapfrogged over Ishmael. Where Gregor, without the newest content in Twining Threads, maybe would not have gone above Ishmael, maybe still made the top 100. But after the Twining Threads Intervalo, I like Gregor a lot more now. And Gregor to me is like the uncle of the center group, where he's just kind of a chill dude most of the time. I'm gonna choose to not talk about it. If you know, you know. But yeah, I like Gregor a lot. His dynamic with Dante is really, really great. His dynamic with Rodia is probably my favorite dynamic between any of the sinners. And he got shafted in his canto, but it's okay because he made up for it later on. At 74, we have a big fall from grace. We have Nagito Komaeda, who was once a lot higher on my list. I don't know exactly like what his height was, but he was definitely like at least top 32 at one point. I still like Nagito a lot. Obviously, he's on the list, but I don't know, man. Like I think one of the things for me with Nagito is that he's a character who really epitomizes Danganronpa 2 in a position where Danganronpa 2 is not my favorite Danganronpa game. Where I think that a lot of people who really like Danganronpa 2 and have it as their favorite of the trilogy would probably like Nagito a good bit, although I guess kind of similar to Mew, there are reasons to not like Nagito, and I get that too. But I do find him to be a genuinely fascinating character. I think that he's a lot of the reason why chapter or DR2 chapter 5 is as great as it good or oh my god. That he's a big part of the reason why 2.5 is as good as it is. His dynamic with Hajime is one that I like a lot, and then I saw all of the Yaoi fan arts, and I was like, maybe I don't like it that much. At least not as much as others seem to. Yeah, interesting character, fascinating stuff. 73, I have Makise Kurisu from Science Gate, where Steins Gate is weird for me, and it's kind of unfortunate. Where I don't know if I've talked about this on video before or not, but we'll talk about it when I talk about Steins Gate on my top 100 series video because shockingly it's there. I know who would have thought, but Steins Gate is a series that I almost dropped the first time I watched it. Where I watched the first 11 episodes after finally getting around to it, and my buddy who got me on some really peak stuff, shout out to the goat. I'm not even going to say your name, you know who you are, for getting me on the likes of like Umineko and Torture Princess and stuff like that. Oh, and fucking Project Moon. But he got me on Steins Gate too, and I remember I almost dropped it, and he convinced me just to stick with it, and then I got through episode 12, and after 12, I binged the rest of it because I loved episode 12. I thought episode 12 was fantastic, and you can't end on episode 12. And so I watched it, loved it, and I still think it's one of the best written series out there. But after a while, it started to slip down my list. So I was like, okay, fuck, I'll read the visual novel. So then I read the visual novel, and now that's been a while, which, again, the NDB, very handy tool. I read the visual novel at the end of 2023. So it's been about a little over 2 years now. And again, Steins Gate is slowly falling down my list, as well as the Steins Gate characters, where Maki Sekurisu is kind of the victim of that, where I still like her character a lot. I really like her dynamic with Okabe, obviously. And I liked her more in the visual novel than I did in the anime, I think. But overall, like, it's still not good enough to be higher. 72 is Sans. Yes, that Sans, the skeleton from hit video game Undertale. My favorite Undertale character by far, personally. But yeah, Sans, really fun. I like his kind of like hidden complexity. I think that is, or I think that's interesting. I like all of the lore surrounding him, Papyrus, and Gaster. I like that he clearly knows more than he lets on. I like how he acts differently towards you in all of the routes. I like him breaking the fourth wall at points. Like all in all, I think Sans is really fun. And at 71, I have Jean de Rai from Torture Princess, everybody's favorite series. If you've never read Torture Princess, what are you doing? Go read it. It's finished. Come on, man. In all seriousness, though, Jean de Rai is my fourth favorite character in Torture Princess. I think off the top of my head, I think she's four. Um, but yeah, Jean de Rai, really fun. Pretty much like the well written Muiruma. Um, But yeah, really fun character, especially by the end of it. Love her dynamic with Isabella, love her dynamic with Elizabeth and Kaito. And man, I really don't have that much to say about Jandara at all, huh? Yeah, fun character though, and the Waltz for Two stuff is, oh my god, if you know, you know. 70 is Satoa Hotsuki, where I talked about this with Hiro Kudasu earlier. With Satoa, I think like if you asked me like point blank, which character did you root for more? Definitely Hiro. But Satoa's journey is just so good. It's so good. There's oh my god, I can't remember what the quote is. Oh my god. I can't remember the quote. Oh, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry on live video. I'm stalling right now to find find the quote. Where would it be? Where would it be? I have an image of the panel that I'm thinking of. So if I can just fuck. Oh, because it's the old one. Oh, fuck. Um Oh, top 100 characters. Oh shit. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Satoa. Oh, there it is. There it is. Hold on. You're allowed to care about yourself. Thank God. Yeah, this panel, maybe I'll put it on on screen so that you guys can see it. Um, yeah, that panel. Love that panel. The whole I finally reached you mom scene in chapter 52. Really great stuff. But it was really only after that point that I got hooked on her character beforehand. I was not as into it. But still, really wholesome dynamic with Kudo. Really good story arc and really solid presence by the end of it. At 69, we have probably the biggest fall from grace, where this is a character who I originally had a lot higher. I thought he would be higher, which we'll talk about when I show you like how I went about making this. We have Shiro Emiya from Fate. And again, I thought Emiya would be higher, but obviously he's not. I think Emiya has just fallen off for me over time. Looking at my handy dandy um VNDB, I read Fate Stay Night over the course of 2023 from May to November. So it's been a little bit, but then again, also like I read Hollow Ataraxia as well, which was finished in February 2024. So it's been, again a little over 2 years, and yeah, Shiro, solid character, solid dynamics. I think for me, the Fate series as a whole has kind of gotten into a Steins Gate conundrum where it's just kind of slowly going down over time, and because of that, the characters are also kind of slowly going down over time. 68 is Lucia from Punishing Gray Raven. I'm pretty sure it's Lucia, but I've been saying Lucia the whole time, so I'm going to keep saying Lucia. And again, like I talked about with number 21, I already talked about Lucia in another video, but the rundown is kind of similar to Satowa, where I did not love her for the start, but then in Kowloon Metropolis, she really won me over. And ever since then, I dare I say it, I've been a Lucia defender, where I do like her journey a lot. I like her scenes in chapter 17, which I'm blanking on somehow, despite glazing the fuck out of this chapter. The Surviving Lucan, there it is. But yeah, especially like the church scene with her and Lee, and I also like the scene with her and Liv in the cutscenes. But yeah, I like her dynamic with Commandant as well. I remember there was an event story with a skin for her. I think it was Endless Summer Blue was the name of the event, I think, if I'm remembering right. It's like the mermaid skin. But that was a cool one. I like her dynamic with Commandant, and I know that she cooks more later on. Oh, I like her dynamic with Alpha too, and the whole mystery between like the Lucia Alpha stuff, really cool. Like it a lot. We'll talk about it later. S- the number 6 7. Oh my god! Actually, this is incredible. I didn't even put this together. So at the special number 6 7, we have the very special Rodya from Project Moon, Limbus Company, and Rodya is the other sinner who I talked about, kind of leapfrogging over Ishmael. And Rodia, to me, is just super entertaining. I think that a lot of people would label Don Quixote as the most entertaining. For me, I found Don Quixote to be incredibly fucking annoying and low key still kind of do at points. Where Rodia is probably the most entertaining center for me. And again, like I talked about with Greg, she has my favorite dynamic amongst the centers with Gregor, or with the Rodia and Gregor dynamic. And her whole thing about wanting to be special, really cool, like it a lot. Unfortunately for her, just like Greg, she got really shafted in her Kanto. Tragic stuff. But also, I just kind of find it really funny that we still don't have the Valencina ID. Like we all know it's coming, man, but it's still not fucking here, man. Where is she? At number 66, we have Chiaki Nanami, who is a lot higher on Horizen's list, in case you needed. Now, I'll bring that up for another character. But Chiaki, I like a lot, but she's kind of in a similar spot to Nagito, where when I think of DR2, those are the two people I think of. I think about Nagito and I think about Chiaki. The problem is I don't think about DR2 that much. And you know what? Genuinely, I hope that this changes after 2x2, whenever that comes out. But also, I'm not super hopeful for Nagito or Chiaki in the extra route. Maybe eventually I'll make a video like discussing my thoughts on 2x2 and how I think it'll go and stuff. But yeah, I don't expect it to go well for either of them. But I hope it does, at least for her. At 65, I have Relutier, who from Utawari Rumono, and I fucking adore Relutier. Like Reluti is weird because she's a character that I would normally not really like. She's this kind of like the cute must protect type character. Um and I love Relutier. I've found Relutier super rootable, and she actively made my experience with Utawari Rumono better because I remember very vividly like whenever she would like try to do stuff so oh, Horizon is sending me more stuff about Mahoyo. Thank God. It's a sprite of the main chick like scoffing. Alco is fun, thank God. Um, thank God this is gonna all be all in the video, so you guys get to hear about Horizen messaging me. Awesome. Um, where am I at? Relutier. So the way that I experience media is very different than the way that most people would experience media, where the reason that I'm able to maintain so much of it is because I pretty much have a diary on Discord where I'll just send like screenshots of like whatever I'm reading to particular friends of mine, and it allows me to then like go back and watch my reactions and stuff. And when I go back and watch my Utawari Rumono playthrough via this method, like so much of it is just me cheering on Relutier whenever she's doing shit. And it's so funny. The Fujoshi subplot hilarious, and her dynamic with Haku is great. Her dynamic with the with her sister Shis, I think was her name, really solid, and her development throughout the story is really good as well. 63 and 64 we're going to talk about at the same time. I have Yuri at 64 and Natsuki at 63. My two least favorite dokis, which is really funny actually because my initial playthrough I had Yuri as my favorite, and now she's not. But yeah, Yuri and Natsuki, I always think of them together whenever I go to rank my characters. Like they're always back to back. It's just that the order kind of changes. But I think that they parallel one another really well. I think that the way that the author Dan Salvato, Dan Salvato, what? Dan Salvato is able to parallel them is really great, especially with their writing styles and the way that they kind of complete each other is just really wholesome. Yeah, 62, much less wholesome. Mobius from Honkai Impact Third, and I like Mobius a lot. She was one of my favorite characters in the Elysian Realm arc. Obviously, not my number one favorite. We'll talk about them a lot later. But Mobius was really cool. Real shame that we didn't get a Mobius XP in the Amphorius arc. The To the Other Me thing is really great. I think that Mobius really succeeds in becoming worse before she becomes better, and I find that fucking hilarious and perfect for her. The whole lab rat thing is really interesting as well, and her whole demeanor is just so different from the rest of the cast in that arc that it's fuck. I just Horizon, stop, man. You keep sending me so that actually perfect example of what I was just talking about of like sending screenshots of my reactions and stuff. He's doing that shit to me right now, man. Fuck. Thank God he's enjoying Mahoya though. What did he say? Unintentional rage bait masterclass. Thank God. Um, Mobius. Fuck. Also, also, I was again. Um, Yeah, I don't even remember what I was saying. I'm just gonna move on. Sorry, Mobius. She's so like against like everything else in Elysian Realm that I find it really great, and the fact that like she sticks out like a sore thumb is genuinely incredible. Um, 61. 61. Can we skip this one? 61 for me is Cosmos Moretti from the Sakura Succubus series, a eroge series that is eroge for eroge's sake, and the winner of MEC Tourney Part 4. I love Cosmos. Cosmos is so fucking hilarious to me. Genuinely, I think her dynamic with Ayu is really good. Her dynamic with Hiroki is okay. Like I'm not gonna beat around the bush, man. Like it's a fucking eroge game for the sake of eroge. But genuinely, like Cosmos is so fucking funny, super entertaining, easily my favorite character in Sakura Succubus. At 60, I have Alisa Mikhailovna Kujo, from Roshidire, aka Alia, who I go back and forth about like where I assess her. Straight up, I think my favorite Alia is actually the Alia we see in the manga. But overall, like she does a good job of paralleling Kuze. She's interesting in the sense that like I would almost view her as an ideal in the same way that Kuze does, but it's specifically because like I just relate super heavily to Kuze himself. But um that train has left the station. 59 is Liv from Punishing Gray Raven. Again, I've already talked about Liv, and she's at her best in the Surviving Lucum. Yeah, I don't think that I have that much to say about Liv. Out of the like Gray Ravens, she is my favorite. She was my favorite initially, and then Calling Metropolis happened, which gave Lucia a bump, um and then the Surviving Lucum happened, and then Love went a lot higher. The allusions to like Christian theology, super great. Liv, incredible character. 58 is Sayori, and shockingly, we have ran through 3 out of 4 Dokis already. And yeah, we'll talk about the last one later. Sayori, I still like her a lot. I think that she does a really good job of representing depression. I don't know if she does the best job of it anymore. Where I know at one point I definitely like had her as like being one of the better portrayals of depression. And still one of the better ones for sure. But yeah, I think a part of it is definitely like the shock factor of it. I think a part of it is also just like her having the best dynamic to Monica, I think. Betwixt the other Dokis. And I think that the side stories in Doki Doki Literature Club Plus really do add to Sayori in particular. I think that Sayori probably no, I don't think she benefits as much as Monica, but outside of Monica, I think Sayori benefits the most individually. Where I think that Natsuki and Yuri benefit one another a lot, and that's kind of why I view them in tandem. Where Sayori definitely stands out more so on her own. At 57, I have Uika Misumi from Bang Dream, Ave Mujika. And I love Uika. She is my favorite character in Bang Dream. She's the only Bang Dream character in my top 100. And yeah, I think that the only thing I really need to say here is that episode 11 was my favorite Ave Mujika episode, and it is literally just Uika on a stage. And she's like reading her life or whatever. That's my favorite episode, and it's so fucking good. Like nothing happens. But yeah, I'm not gonna get much into it because again, one of the characters are just hard to talk about without talking about spoilers. So I'm just not gonna talk about it at all. 56 is Jiahan from Maybe Meant to Be, and Jiahan just a super consistently relatable, funny character. Her journey from start to finish is really good. Her whole thing about being an author and wanting to go back to it is really good. Her dynamic with Minchul is great, and again, I just find her hilarious. 55? Oh boy. I don't even know. Okay. At number 55 I have Minakami Yuki from Subahebe. Um how the I'm genuinely trying to think about how to talk about her. Um Again, this would be a great spot to have a script. And then no spoiler thing is really hard. Um okay. If you read Subahebe, pay attention to what I'm about to say because you'll understand what I'm getting at. When I say that Minakami Yuki is my 55th favorite character, I'm talking about all of Minakami Yuki. Again, that won't matter to people that have not seen Tsubahime, but I'm talking about the Minakami Yuki after all of the reveals have happened and taking all of that together to make up Minakami Yuki on this list. Again, I hope that that the Tsubihime readers are able to pick up what I'm putting down here. But other than that, like fun character. I like her dynamic with Zakuro a good bit. I like her aesthetic a lot, actually. Genuinely one of my favorite character aesthetics, maybe ever. Like probably in my top 5 favorite character aesthetics. Super cool character though, overall. Very interesting character after everything has, happened. But yeah, what a fun and interesting character. And my favorite character in Tsubahime. And for those that have read it, it is because she's my favorite that I chose her. And I feel like I'm saying too much. 54 is Yuki Suo, who straight up would not be here if not for Volume 9 of Roshidire, where I've read most of the light novels. I've read up through Volume 9, and Yuki's showing in Volume 9 is genuinely incredible. And this, I'm looking at the person above her. Makes sense that these two are right next to each other. But genuinely, I think that her dynamic with Kuze is very well executed. Uh, at least by Volume 9. Speaking of that, 53, I have Sora and Nimi from 99. The two emotos back to back. And Sora is hilarious. She's the only character in 99 that is in my top 100 anymore. Rest in peace, Kakadu. But Sora, super entertaining. The paper bag scene in episode 2 of the visual novel is genuinely the most hilarious eroge scene I've ever read. It's the paper bag thing. It's so good. And the memes from Sora are incredible with like the Oni-chan Kenobi and bro I'm sure she calls him Brotato. I don't know. She has like all these ridiculous names that it's so good, dude. It's so good. Sora is just a super entertaining character overall. The anime, at least from what I watched of it, did not do her justice because she was Tony and also God. The subtitles were terrible. But yeah, Sora made me really entertaining character. 52. I lied. There is another Classroom of the Elite character. I have Hanami Ichinose, the goat. And unfortunately, she's this low at 52. And again, like I said earlier, she kind of like ends this kind of sub tier. Um, Hanami is difficult, where I liked Hanami more in year one, but she gets a lot more focus in year two, and I still like the focus that she gets. I've not, like I said, I haven't read year three. Um, Fascinating trajectory, but I think the issue for me with Hanami at this point is that I view her as very altruistic, and that's what I really liked about her character initially, is that she was this very altruistic person. The problem with that is that two other characters have done altruism significantly better, in my opinion. But I will say one of the things that keeps her pretty high on my list is the fact that even though I believe waifu culture is genuinely really stupid when taken seriously, if I had to pick a waifu, it's probably Hanami Ichinose, an absolute goat. But all right, number 51, the best character on the bottom half of the list is actually from the same series as the character that's actually on the bottom of the list. I have Tidus from Final Fantasy X. And kind of like I said with Yuna, his journey is so good. So fucking good. I think the thing that separates him and Yuna from me is his dynamics, where he's got a really great dynamic with Riku, a really great dynamic with Waka, a really great dynamic with Orin, a really great dynamic with Yuna herself, a really great dynamic with Jecht. And yeah, like I like Tidus a lot. I found him very, very rootable. I was shocked that he ended up being my favorite in Final Fantasy X, but not disappointed though. Really great character. We're halfway there, guys, and it's only been an hour and 6 minutes. Thank God I was able to do all of this unprompted. But yeah, 50. Number 50, another video game character. I have a Lady Maria of the Astral Clock Tower from Bloodborne. And yeah, I love Lady Maria. Favorite, at least favorite Souls boss. I don't know if she's my favorite video game boss, but the way that the game is able to tell her story through her boss fight is genuinely a masterclass. With the whole like her becoming more desperate and kind of how do I put it? The her becoming more desperate and fighting with the techniques that she swore off from the healing church. So good. So fucking good. Bloodborne lore as a whole is just really incredible, and I'm very biased. But yeah, the Lady Maria fight, genuinely incredible. At 49, I have Kyoko Kirigiri, who is not my favorite Danganronpa character, but I think she's like top four, top five. I don't know. Definitely top five. I think top four. Um, Carrie's Danganronpa 1. That's enough to say. Now her journey throughout the Danganronpa series is probably my favorite character journey across the whole series, where it spans multiple entries. And I remember picking up Kirigiri Volume 1. And then when I learned that Kirigiri was not the protagonist, I lost a lot of interest. But that's kind of a shame. But either way, still really cool character, very stoic. Liked her a lot in both the visual novels and the anime. Um, I think in the future arc in particular, she is probably my favorite character. And really, Danganronpa 3 as a whole, Kyoko is probably my favorite character in that as well. So yeah. 48. I have Cat Black. Everybody's favorite character. They all know who Cat Black is. No, Cat is one of the more obscure characters on my list. She's from Find Love or Die Trying. Real tragedy because again, another character who I want to talk about, but it involves spoilers. So, I say let her cook, and also you should play Find Love or Die Trying. I unfortunately cannot recommend Find Love or Die Trying 2, but Find Love or Die Trying 1 is still a really great story, and would recommend because Kat's journey is really great. 47 is Sarah Chitoween from Your Turn to Die, aka Kimi ga Shine. My second favorite character from that, and when did I read Kimi ga Shine? October 2021. 4.5 years ago. Oh man, almost 5 years. Yeah, Sarah's my second favorite character in Your Turn to Die, and always has been. Unfortunately for her, I think she always will be. I don't think she's ever gonna take my number one spot. We'll see because Your Turn to Die is not over yet. But Sarah, really great protagonist. I think that the way that Non Kadai is able to show her psychology is actually really fucking good. Like really good. Um yeah, her dynamic with KG is good. Her dynamic with Joe is good. Her dynamic with So is good, and Kana and Reko and now. And she'll definitely go up, I think, on a reread. I think that this is definitely not her ceiling. And especially like once all the reveals come through in the final chapter, like I think she'll go up. At 46 though, I have Maki Harukawa from Danganronpa V3, where basically what I just said for Sarah, except for worse psychological portrayal, and is actually like concluded. I like Maki's journey a lot in V3, where V3 is my favorite Danganronpa game, and you'll see that because my top three Danganronpa characters are all from V3. But Maki took a little bit for me to warm up to, but is really great. I think she especially shines on a reread though, and I've reread V3 three times. I've read V3 four times in total. And I will be reading it again sometime next year, maybe late this year. I don't know. We'll see. 45. I have Kuan from Utawari Rumono, who doesn't have a great journey throughout the series, but has a really good journey for Mask of Deception and Mask of Truth for basically like her whole time in Utawari Rumono. Um, I like Kuan a lot. She's the main deuteragonist, and kind of shocked me with how high she ended up being. Which again we'll talk about later when I like go through like my process of how I made this list in the first place. But Kuan, I think that it's mainly her dynamic with Haku that leaves her as high as she is, and her more wholesome scenes are also just wholesome. They're great. 44. I have Battler Ushiromiya from Umineko no Nakukoro ni. My first Umineko character out of a whopping two to talk about. Umineko I read in December 2022. Um December 2022. I think I said that right. Did I? I feel like I stuttered. Um but yeah, Umineko 2022. So 3.5 years, almost 4 years. Holy shit. um but yeah, Battler still pretty high for me, relatively, because of how long it's been. But great character, inconsistent at points, especially towards the beginning of it. And incredible dynamic with Beatrice. I don't think I have that much to say about Battler, genuinely. A great dynamic with Angie Ushiromi as well. Which I guess I'll briefly like touch on Angie. I know like a lot of people really like Angie, and I like Angie too. She's my third favorite character in Umineko. But genuinely, she was not on that. She was not gonna make the top 100. Again, it's been a long time since I've seen Umineko, and maybe when I read the manga, she'll go up on my opinion. But I haven't read the manga yet, even though I need to, because I read episode 1 a while ago and I never like finished it. At 43, I have Shiren Eowyn from Surviving Romance, who's another one who I really don't think I have that much to say about. I liked her a lot. She is another one of these characters that really embodies the series that she is, like, or the series that she's from, with Surviving Romance really just being the Shiren story, and it's a really good story, especially the fuck off scene, or the go to hell scene. Great stuff, and her dynamics are really great. Her character concept is also really great. 42 is Isabella Vicker from Torture Princess, my favorite character. Oh no, sorry, not my favorite character. Fuck. My my favorite character in Torture Princess, as far as being just way better than Hina. I'm sure Horizon agrees. Anime experience. Um But yeah, I like Isabella a lot. Her dynamic with Jean is incredible. Her dynamic with Kaito and Elizabeth is really great. But really, what I like most about her is the way that she's tested in the story, where to not spoil her. Um, the way that they handle religion in accordance with Isabella is genuinely like really really good in my opinion. I think it's really great. 41 is Vera from Punishing Gray Raven, who will probably go up over time. I like Vera a lot. I think that she has the most interesting and fascinating ideology for me in Punishing Gray Raven. I think that her Rosen interlude in particular really sticks out to me as probably my favorite interlude at this point, where the whole monologue of her talking about like the difference between people that are alive and the people that are dead, so good, dude. Genuinely so good. Where she says that like she'll pillage all that you'll never own again from the deceased. It's so good. Again, I love it. The fine I'll live scene, so good. And even though like Garnet's interlude was worse for me, I still really liked it. The whole like Legend of Lloyd thing and her doing that stuff, really great. Her dynamic with number 21 also really great, with like number 21 looking at Vera as an angel, only for Vera to just kind of scoff at it. Um and she's also just super funny. And I also love the fact that like you're canonically supposed to meet her in an April Fool's event. Like Vera's like the whole package, and yeah, like I said, I think she'll go higher as time goes on. At number 40, I have Aoi Muko from Totono, from You and Me and Her, a love story, and life is like a staircase. And she wants to get zappy. Aoi Muko is the best character in Totono. When did I read Totono? 2023? Really? Damn. Yeah, March 2023. I read it after Umineko. I don't know why. I remembered it as I read it beforehand. Aoi is this high because of the ending, straight up. Um Aoi's character concept is really good, and the concept of her conclusion makes her one of the most memorable characters out there, I think, for me. Um Yeah, I don't want to say too much about Allie. Really weird character, but really good one. At number 39, we have a spot that Horizon will be super duper happy about because there are only 38 characters better than this. Subaru Hoshina. Subaru Hoshina is weird for me, where this is actually lower. Genuinely, this is lower than I expected her to be when I went into this process. I still like Subaru Hoshina. Obviously, she's on this list at all at number 38, or sorry, 39. um, but her journey is solid. Her dynamic with Waguri is really good and wholesome. Her dynamic with Rintaro is one that I probably like more than her dynamic with Waguri, to be honest. And her dynamic with Saku is, really great. I'm not completely caught up to the manga though, straight up. It's been a couple months since I've caught up, so maybe she gets more content, hopefully. And by the end of the story, I hope that she's higher than this. At 38, I have Fata Morgana. Except for not Morgana, because she's not in my top 100. I have Jacopo Bersati, the second best written character of all time for me, number 38. Um, well, I mean, I was thinking because I know my top five in writing offhand. If you need to know my top five in writing offhand, it is Beatrice Umineko, Jacopo Fata Morgana, Angela Project Moon, Morgana from Fata Morgana, and then Elizabeth from Torture Princess. Morgana's not on this list at all, and Jacopo is down here. The other three we will not be talking about for a while. Um, but yeah, Jacopo, weird character. The best Epstein client in fiction. Oh, you probably heard that. But yeah, Jacopo. Like Jacopo is so hard for me to rank because how much of it is I like Jacopo? Because genuinely, do I like Jacopo? Eh. but I really appreciate his writing, and his journey is really great, especially after all of the reveals. And really, I think what really props Jacopo up and makes him my favorite Fata Morgana character is Requiem for Innocence. I think if it was just base game, I mean, granted, he probably still is my favorite character, but it's like closer. And Requiem for Innocence is like genuinely like one of the best individual written pieces of media ever. I think that for me, I have Fata Morgana and Umineko like pretty neck and neck. I think if I took out Requiem for Innocence, I think I do have Umineko above pretty handily. But with Requiem for Innocence, I think it's enough to teeter over Umineko. And Jacopo is a big reason why. I think that the parallels to him and Barney are really great. I think the parallels between him and Morgana are great. I think the parallels between him, Yukimasa, and Mel are great. I think the dynamics between all of these characters is really good. I think his character is very much so sunk in tragedy. I think his dynamic with the white-haired girl in door 3 is really good. And it's also the best door in Fata Morgana, the base game, for me, is door 3. At least out of the first 4 doors. I think the later doors definitely give it more of a run for its. But yeah, Jacopo, interesting character, very 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 well written. Um, yeah, I think I'll leave it there. But now I think the one last thing I'll say about Jacopo is I remember talking about it with one of my best friends, and the whole time I thought it was Jacopo until we actually talked about it. And he was like, "No, dude, it's fucking Jacopo." I'm like, "Oh man." 37, another really great character, writing wise, is Rentaro Okabe, who, similar to Hoshina, is lower on this list than I expected him to be. And he kind of caps off this next tier that started with Titus, where Rentaro, kind of similar to Kurisu Makise, back down at 73, where unfortunately for her, um, and for Okabe, the Steins Gate thing, the Steins Gate dilemma, where Steins Gate is a series that just kind of goes down for me over time, and the same is true with the two main leads. Where I still like both characters a lot, obviously. Hoi and Kiyoma is funny. I think that my opinion on Okabe went up a lot on the visual novel side of things, but not enough to save him from slowly going down my list again. And I think that one day he may very well be swimming with Makise down in the 70s. We'll see. But starting off the next tier, and we are so close to the characters from that edit, guys. At 36, this is a character I talked about way back when I was talking about Rentaro, when I said like, oh, there's a character that does Rentaro better. Rentaro Sumugi, not Okabe. Um, but yeah, Kudo Chika from Kono Ototomare to me is genuinely just a better Rentaro Sumugi. And unlike Okabe and Hoshina, he's actually higher than I expected him to land. But yeah, I like Kudo a lot. I love his journey. I think it's really incredible. And again, I genuinely, the way that I would best describe him is if you like Rentaro Sumugi, you're gonna love Kudo Chika, because to me he's just a better version of it. And his dynamic with Holtski is great. His dynamic with Takazo is great. His dynamic with his aunt is great. Really like everybody. And again, another one of these characters that really embodies his series, where I think that there are other characters, like I said, Hiro and Sato are both on this list, and even Takazo too, who's not on the list, but still a really good character. I think Kudo still embodies Kono Ototomare. And even though it took a little bit for me to get on his side, I did get on his side. And once I did, I mean, it's what an incredible character. 35. I have the one, the only Dawn of the Quixote from Project Moon, and I found Don Quixote so fucking annoying for the first 6 cantos. She had some fun bits, like the beach volleyball is incredible. The little Sir Squirrel in Canto 6 is incredible. And some of her antics were funny in general, but also she was so fucking annoying. And then I grew more of an appreciation for her, where genuinely, like after Canto 7 and all of her reveals happen, I do like Don Quixote a lot more, but also so annoying. Still, there are still times where I find her super annoying, but super fun at other times as well. And I think it's really interesting to have a character like that, you know? Number 34, unironically, genuinely, this is one that I view similarly to Don Quixote, and that is Nemu Monaco from Euphoria. Um, if we are just talking about the anime, Nemu is not on this list, but I've read the 30-hour long visual novel. And yeah, Nemu deserves this spot. Uh I will keep it very brief for her, where the reason that I compare her to Don Quixote and the reason that I have them back to back on my list is that just like Don Quixote, I found Nemu, let's put it, unlikable for a good portion of it. But then once it was her canto, so to say, I really turned around on her and I liked her a lot. And I think by the end of the Euphoria visual novel, Nemu Monica is perhaps the single best character in terms of portraying escapism in a negative light. Um yeah. That's the main thing that I took away from Euphoria as a series, and we'll talk about Euphoria in the top 100 series video. But we've made it recently. I guess I'll pull it up while I'm, talking about it, just so I can see what the date was when I made it. But somewhat recently I made a video ranking my top 32 favorite characters. And now that we're at number 33 here, we're pretty much there, with one exception, which is we'll talk about. And also that list is already outdated because I'm looking at my pinned comment where I gave you the list, and the list is wrong. Gregor's at number 100, and he's not there anymore. That's what I'm saying, man. This list changes so fucking much, dude. Uh, yeah. But yeah, I made this video. YouTube is not telling me like the date. That's super annoying. April 12th, 2026. I'm recording this on May 2nd, 2026. So yeah, this very outdated. Obviously, it's um. But yeah, but we've made it there. Thank God. 33, Lloyd Frontera. Um, yeah, Lloyd Frontera from the Greatest Estate Developer, who, by the way, shockingly, he is the Greatest Estate Developer. And I like Lloyd a lot. I think most people that have seen or read, rather, the Greatest Estate Developer like Lloyd a lot. Very memorable for all the facial expressions. Just a really funny character. He reminds me a lot of Kazuma Sato, and even though he's not as good as that guy, which we'll talk about. So really good. Really great scammer. Absolute water. Incredible stuff. 32 is Javier Azrahan, also from the Greatest Estate Developer. And I will say, Javier and Lloyd are kind of another Natsuki Yuri for me, where like they complete each other, man. They have such a great dynamic. One of, if not the single best bro ex bro dynamics for me in fiction, where they feel like long lost brothers, and it's so good, man. The dynamic is incredible. The whole like protagonist talk, fantastic. 31 for me is Violet Evergarden from Violet Evergarden. And straight up, she's the only character in Violet Evergarden that sticks to me, but she's a really great character. The transformation from her military reports to writing love letters for royalty, incredible stuff. Backstory, great. Concept, great. The whole like looking for love thing, incredible stuff. At 30, I have Aqua. Finally, we're back to another Konosuba character. Aqua again. Like Megumin was all the way down at 83. Aqua is my third favorite in the main group, and she's number 30. um, but yeah, I like Aqua a lot. In the light novels, I think she's a lot better than she is in the anime. Particularly Volume 17, the thank you scene, which I've glazed to hell and back, and there's a lot of thank yous in fiction, but for me, Aqua's thank you at the end of Konosuba is the best one, straight up. And yeah, her dynamic with Kazuma is my favorite out of any of the dynamics with Kazuma, but still not my favorite character in Konosuba. So we'll talk about the others. 29, I have Saber from Fate from hit video game Honkai Star Rail. No, I have Saber from Fate. Garden of Avalon does a few numbers for her here. The Fate route was my favorite out of Fate, Unlimited Blade Works, and Heaven's Feel was Fate was my favorite one. Although her and Tosca got done dirty in the Aragay department. Tragedy, really. But she does have a really good dynamic with Shiro. She is my favorite Fate character right now, and she does probably have my favorite dynamic with Shiro as well. But at 28, I have Charles Eiler from Hello Charlotte. I know he's this high. Straight up, this is recency bias. I 100% expect that in the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna drop him down, probably to closer to like number 40 or so. But yeah, I don't give a damn. Recency bias be damned. Charles, really great character. I think the full context of his character, kind of like what I talked about with like Minakami Yuki, where when I'm talking about Charles, I'm talking about all of Charles, and it's from the trilogy as well as I don't think he was in Delirium at all, but also the Heaven's Gate visual novel, including Henri's Diary. But yeah, Charles, such a fascinating character. Like after all of the reveals have happened, I think that's when Charles shines. I think before all of the reveals, like I did like Charles, but I didn't like him that much. But like once everything happened, especially towards the end of Hello Charlotte 3, what a fantastic character, man. Genuinely, probably a top 10 written character, I would think, off the top of my head. I mean, I know he's not top 5 for me, but he might be top 10. 27 is Alpha from Punishing Gray Raven, which is way too high for her. She does also probably end the next sub tier on my list. Um, but Alpha, I love Alpha so much. I think that she has kind of like I said with number 21. Alpha has one of my favorite introductions in Punishing Gray Raven. Her dynamic with Lucia is really great. The mystery behind her is great. Her dynamic with Luna is great. Her dynamic with Commandant is great. Her dynamic with Roland and Gabriel is also really great as well. Um, her you know nothing scene and then transferring into the like you stand on the starting point is so good between chapters 13 and 14. The only flaw that I have with Alpha is that there's not enough Alpha content. But, ladies and gentlemen, get this. I have been saving up pulls. I have over 100 pulls saved on PGR right now because we're getting a new Alpha frame in June. I cannot wait. I'm so fucking excited, man. But yeah. So like I said, that starts the next tier, the second highest tier that I have with Heathcliff from Project Moon, which is so funny because I remember when I finished the prologue, I asked my Project Moon enthusiast friend about like, oh hey, let me just for shits and giggles, let me do a ranking of the sinners right now, just based on the prologue, and I did. Heathcliff was pretty low. I don't remember exactly where I had him, but I had him pretty low. And then I asked my friend what his ranking was, and he had Heathcliff like number 1 or 2. And I was like, "What? What? There's no way. What? This guy? Come on!" And here I am having him as my second favorite center. Heathcliff is incredible. I think that Heathcliff really hits for people that have at least experienced love before in the romantic sense. I think without that, well, not even just that, but like the loss of love. I think that if you've never experienced that, then Heathcliff may not be as high for you. But I absolutely love Heathcliff. I love his really small scenes. I love how much you can tell that he cares about the rest of the sinners. And I love his development throughout. I think he has some of the strongest development in the series so far. At 25, the top 25, the top quarter of the list. Don't worry, anime experience. She made it. It's Farina De Fontaine from Genship Midpact. The only Genship Midpact character on here. The only Genship Midpact character that I would even remotely consider to be on the list. But Yeah, I think Farina's great, genuinely. Um, carries the Fontaine arc, especially in Masquerade of the Guilty. She's the reason that I absolutely abhor Ceridra in Amphorius, because I think that Ceridra just was Farina, but like worse in every conceivable way. I really like the parallel between Farina and Fussalor. I like her dynamic with the Traveler, and the whole prophecy thing is really cool as well. Genuinely, Farina is the only reason to play Genshin Impact. 24, I have the second best character in Konosuba for me, Darkness. Fun story about Darkness actually is that I convinced my mom to watch Konosuba with me, where we watched the first two seasons in the movie, and her favorite character was Darkness. I couldn't believe it. I thought I was gonna have to like avoid watching Konosuba with my mother because of Darkness, only for Darkness to become her favorite character, which was so funny to me. But yeah, I love Darkness a lot. I really want to spoil something about Darkness. I'm gonna not do it because I know better than that. But if you've read the light novels, you know what I'm talking about in volume 12. The scene in question, in particular, the way that she goes about that scene, like the actual, like, the dialogue in it, the particular quote, so good. It's, oh my god, it's so good. 23, and well, I'll talk about 22 and 23 in tandem. It's Kokichi and Shuichi. Again, another one of these like Javier Lloyd or Natsuki Yuri, where like I just want to talk about them together because it just makes sense. The idea that these two play off of truth and lies so well, them really embodying the themes of Danganronpa V3, my favorite Danganronpa game, possibly my favorite visual novel. Um, Incredible, really great. And Shuichi's journey is really good. And one of the other things I really appreciate is that Shuichi really has this like really long character journey, whereas Kokichi is a much more stagnant character throughout, but also a much more entertaining character throughout. Where Kokichi is my favorite Danganronpa character, period. Personally, I just find him hilarious. And similar to Mew, like if you don't like Kokichi, believe me when I say I get it. But also I don't care. I do like Kokichi, so he's here on my list. And then Shuichi, Kaede dynamic, really great. Kaito dynamic, really great. 21, I have Kaoru Tachibana from hit visual novel Usonatsu. Um, yeah, I love Kaoru. Kaoru is definitely higher for Horizon than she is for me. But genuinely, like, it ain't just Glaze, bro. Kaoru's journey is really great. Her subtle development throughout the story is great. Her monologues are fantastic. And she's genuinely just a super relatable, down to earth character. Unfortunately for her, though, she's not number one in relatability. We'll talk about them relatively soon. At 20, I have Haku from Utawari Rumono. And Haku's journey is the single greatest character journey in fiction for me. Across Utawari Rumono, Mask of Deception, and Mask of Truth. Um, Genuinely, I think he has the single greatest character journey. I don't want to spoil pretty much any of it for you guys. Trust the process. Haku, incredible, great dynamics with the likes of Relutier and Kuon, and I mean, I could just list the entire Utawari Rumono cast. Oh, but also fuck Maruto. I had to put that in there somewhere. 19 is Alicia from Honkai Impact Third, the Cyrene before Cyrene came out. I like Alicia a lot. Pink Jesus, my goat. The greatest Mary Sue in fiction. No, Alicia is such an incredible character for me because she embodies the Elysian Realm arc, and the Elysian Realm arc is a story about grief. I personally recently ish at this point, but like around the time that I read Elysian Realm, I did experience a familial loss, and genuinely the Elysian Realm helped me process everything. And I think part of that is Alicia herself. So yeah. I will say the one thing about Alicia that I find absolutely fucking hilarious is her being super outwardly suspicious with like in regards to like touching May's horns, only to eventually learn that like no, she just really wanted to touch May's horns. So funny, incredible stuff. 18 is Lelouch v Britannia or Lelouch Lamperouge. I love Lelouch. I think that even though I don't think he has the greatest character journey, I think that the way that his introduction and conclusion tie into one another is genuinely perfect. I think everything in between that is rocky, but he has a great dynamic with C2, great parallels to Suzaku, and just a very entertaining character. He's Light Yagami on steroids and better than Light Yagami. So 17 is Yuki Sorimachi, and she is the end of my second highest tier. Straight up, um, if Volume 6 is good of Shiba Yugi, she will be in my top tier. Um, Yuki really skyrocketed on my list. Where before this, before Volume 5, I had her closer to like top 50 ish. But Volume 5, Volume 5 broke me, man. Volume 5 was so fucking good. I plan to make a Yuki edit where congratulations for because you watched an hour and 40 minutes of this video. You get to know that one of the edits I'll be making soon is Yuki Sodamachi versus Don Quixote as a writing debate with the song Headlock. And yeah, I Volume 5 I think was incredible, dude. The whole like disassociative breakdown in Volume 5 is incredible. It's peak Shiba Yugi to me. The dynamic between Yuki and Tamamo is incredible. The story between even like going away from Volume 5, like you have her dynamic with Hakushi, her dynamic with Mishiro, you have her dynamic with other characters too, like Rinrin and Moegi and Kiara and Hakushi, in case I didn't already say her, and her agent too. Yeah, Yuki, genuinely, I expect for her to be in my top. I don't know if she'll be top 10, but I definitely expect for her to be in my top tier after Volume 6. I will genuinely be a little bit disappointed if she's not. At 16, and again, this is my top tier. Um, and you'll see that when we talk about like how I went about making this list. Like this is my definitive top tier of characters. And at number 16, I have my gatekeeper, really, where this character has been in this position for a while, where they are pretty much like the standard by which I assess whether or not a character is top tier. Of like, hey, do I like X character more than this character? Okay, then they must be top tier. And at 16, I have Sohiori from Your Turn to Die. Like I talked about with Sarah, I think that Sarah's kind of like or that Sarah's not at her ceiling. I think So's probably at his ceiling for me. Um, maybe push him up a couple of spots on a reread, and we'll see how the last chapter goes in particular routes. But So is just a really great character. Um, the Beanie Man, the odd job hopper, the hobo Joe can't even do a push up. But yeah, Your Turn to Die is incredibly difficult to talk about without spoiling. So I will just say that So Hiyori has incredible dynamics. The how do I put it? The journey. Mm, Damn, I don't know how I want to put this. The journeys of Sohiori are really good. In any route, I think the Sohiori is really good for different reasons in multiple routes. Um, but regardless, he's incredible. 15 is Faust from Project Moon. I fucking adore Faust. Faust is the newest addition to my top tier, and very well deserved. No Kanto yet. That's my goat right there. And genuinely, if Kanto 12 is a flop, she will still probably be in my top tier. I'm sorry, dude. I fucking love Faust. I When I got towards the end game of Limbus, I decided I was gonna recreate the entire Giselle shaft thing by uptying all of the Faust IDs to 4, thread spinning all of her egos to 4, and leveling up all of her IDs. And now I've done that with both her and Heathcliff. And I'm working on it with Dawn right now too. But but yeah, Faust is my favorite Limbus Company character. Um, I think it was pretty early on that I decided Faust was my favorite, and it hasn't changed. For a little bit, like once I finished Cantos 5 and 6, I did have Ishmael and then Heathcliff at number 1, but then I quickly moved them back down. Oh man. But I think that Faust's main thing for me is that I love her concept. The Giselle Shaft thing, really fun. And the whole especially after the stupid Faust of it all, incredible. Bao is so Mao. The Pulse, oh my god, Pulse is incredible. Faust Quixote is incredible. Like everything about Faust is just really, really great. Really incredible character. One of my favorites. One of my current favorites, really. But at 14, I have Kazuma Sato, the goat of Konosuba. Yeah, Kazuma, best dynamics in fiction for me, genuinely. Really funny character, really consistent character, very relatable character at points. And I mean he's the sitcom protagonist of an isekai world. Like what is not to like? At 13, I have Kuze Masachika from Roshidire, my number 1 in relatability, genuinely. I think that it's how do I describe Kuze? So for me, the feeling that I get with Kuze is when I read how the author wrote him, like I get this like feeling of kinship of like, oh my god, like the author gets it. Like they get the struggle. And it's uncomfortable genuinely to read at points where Kuze really reminds me of myself in multiple ways. And again, to an uncomfortable degree at points. Like obviously not all of it, shockingly I'm not currently in talks with a, you know, sweet, lovely Russian lady. But he's a character that I do not think will leave my top tier. I think he might go down because he has gone down already. At one point he was like top 5, top 6. And now obviously he's down here at 13. But still incredible character. Probably going to go up when I read volumes 10 and, the rest of the series when it continues to come out. 11 and 12, I will also talk about back to back or in tandem because, it's tragic that they're both outside of my top 10. But I have Psyche Callista at 12 and Medea Salon from 11, or oh my god, at 11. From Your Throne, which I just did a reread of, and I swapped them. Where originally I had Psyche higher than Medea, and they were actually both lower on the list. But yeah, incredible duo. I think that this is the best parallel in fiction is the journey between Medea and Psyche. I think that they bounce off of each other incredibly well throughout. And genuinely the reread did numbers for both of them. I think that Medea is a much more consistent presence, but I think that when Psyche is good, Psyche is really, really good. The whole like Callista family arc towards like the 180s to the early 200s, probably my favorite stretch of Your Throne still. And it's all about Psyche. It's really great stuff. Go read Your Throne. Incredible dynamics. Number 10. Oh my god, the top 10. I'm almost done, and I've only been talking for like what is this hour 48 minutes? What is this nonsense? Number 10, I have the second best character journey of all time for me, Kiana Castellana, throughout Honkai Impact Third Part 1. And don't worry, guys, Horizon has just finished Chapter 1 of Witch on the Holy Night, thank God. Either way, Kiana Castellana, really great character, really great dynamics. Um, her what do you call it? The way, or no, not the way. Her role in the song Moon Halo is so fucking depressing. Like in a good way, in a good way. Um but Moon Halo is what I think about when I think about Kiana, and as well as Da Capo as well. Like Kiana is almost similar to Charles in a way, particularly the way that like when Kiana's character is concluded, like everything just falls into place, man, and she becomes better because of the conclusion, I think. Um and just stepping back and looking at her character as a whole after this very long journey is really good. Like, sorry, man, but Kiana's a really great character, really great narrator, really fun protagonist. Number 9 is Elizabeth Le Fanu from Torture Princess. Again, go read Torture Princess. Number 8 is also Kaito Sana from Torture Princess. The last time I'll be, dueling here or dual wielding characters. The journey of Kaito and Elizabeth is so good. So good. Um, Even if I were talking about spoilers in this video, I would not spoil Elizabeth and Kaito because I do not want to ruin this for you. Genuinely. Hear me out, guys. Listen, I've been talking for an hour and 50 minutes straight. Read Torture Princess. I beg of you. The light novel series is finished. As long as you can handle gore and like really violent media, read Torture Princess. It is so, so good. And Elizabeth and Kaito are the reason why. Because throughout Elizabeth Leifanu's bloody life, she was accompanied by a foolish servant, and the two of them thought that sounded just fine. Um, it's so good. Go read it. Speaking of needing to go read things, number 7, I have Roland from Project Moon. And again, read Project Moon. Oh, get on Project Moon. I'm gonna take a swig of water. Give me a minute. And I really hope that you can't hear that. I made some like settings in OBS that I normally don't use, but they have like a noise gate thing where like if it doesn't reach a certain amount of decibels, then the mic just won't pick it up at all. I'm really hoping that works for like me like drinking water and stuff. Um, but yeah. Roland, Project Moon, really great character, really great representation of revenge, really great narrator for Library of Ruina, really like the perfect character in Project Moon to be in his role, I think. Um Incredible dynamic with Angela, really great story with Angela, really sad backstory because it's Project Moon, obviously. And dare I say it, out of all of the characters whose media I started and finished while I had pneumonia in 2025, Roland is my second favorite of all time. But yeah, love Roland. And I will so with Library of Ruina, I actually have never played the game. I've only ever watched the story segments of it on a no commentary, and then I read like all of the books, like the loot that you get from the enemies and stuff, and I read all the boss dialogues and stuff. Um, but genuinely, I think that Roland might go up when I reread it, or when I like play it for myself. I mean, at number 6, I have Penelope Eckhart from Death is the Only Ending for a Villainess, also known as Villains Are Destined to Die, but that's a much less cool title. Um, I love Penelope. For me, she has the highest character peak in fiction. The To the Star scene is really the reason that she's in my top 10, to be honest. Where I do like Penelope outside of the To the Star, but the dichotomy between her dialogue and monologues in that scene is it had me speechless, genuinely, completely speechless. And the whole like coming of age ceremony arc is just banger after banger after banger. I think her dynamic with Callisto is really good. Her dynamic with Derek is really good. Her dynamic with Reynold is really Reynold. I think that's his name, right? The pink haired brother. Either way, uh, I'm completely blanking on his name. I think it's Reynold. I really hope it is. I hope I'm not wrong. Um, And then the whole Yvonne thing is I'm gonna save my opinions on because it's not over yet, but we'll see how it goes. Penelope, genuinely just a really great character. Number 5, I have the single best written character of all time for me is Beatrice, from Umineko. And Beatrice is pretty much, so she's like Vera on steroids from Punishing Gray Raven, where Beatrice is the perfect package. Where I mean, if you really need to know, like with WIS and SCD and writing and stuff, she's really good in all three, to my knowledge. Um, but yeah, she's super entertaining while being incredibly well written. Obviously, like in a much better way than Vera. But yeah, Beatrice's story is so fucking good. And I was worried going into Umineko that I wouldn't get the hype, that it would be like Thus Spoke Apocalypse, but on a grander scale, or maybe something closer to like a Yusugoi, where I just wouldn't really see the vision. Like I would like it and I would understand why people revere it, but I wouldn't look at it that high. But Beatrice, man, dude, like she lives up to it, is what I'll say. Absolutely incredible character. Great dynamics with the entire cast. Number 4, I have Natsuki Subaru, the man who hates himself, but he's truly a great guy. Um, yeah, Natsuki Subaru without Arc 6 is not this high. Still top tier probably, but not this high. Arc 6 really cemented him in my top tier, or in my like upper echelon of characters. And genuinely, I do fear for Subaru. I think that he will be falling down pretty soon, because it's just been a while since I've, engaged in ReZero content. But really incredible character, incredible concept, and one of the most emotional, one of the characters that has been the most easy for me to emotionally resonate with. Wow, that sounded like a scripted sentence, guys. Wow, look at me go. How does he do it? But now Natsuki Subaru, the way that, so I talked about with Lelouch how his introduction and his conclusion really like tie into each other. For me, it's the Subaru's breakdown in episode 18 and Subaru's catharsis in arc 6. Yeah, in the Natsuki Subaru chapters, if you know, you know. Um the way that those two scenes tie into each other is masterclass. At number 3, I have Kiyotaka Ayano Koji. He just like me for real. Or rather, I'm just like him for real. Top 10 steps to be just like Kiyotaka Ayano Koji. Genuinely, I love Koji. One of the most psychologically fascinating characters ever for me. Um, oh, sorry, hold on. My brain just went back. I mentioned with Hanami Ichinose, that altruism was done really good through her, but then I really liked it a lot more from other characters. Kaito Senna and Psyche Callista, who we already talked about. Those are the ones I was talking about. Sorry about that. But Koji's weird because if you asked me like 2 years ago, he's number one, and he had been number one for years. You asked me a year ago, he's number two. Shit, you asked me like a month or two ago, he's number two. But now number 3. So he is slowly falling. But again, like I said with Subaru, that I was worried. I'm less worried for Koji, but I also haven't engaged in Classroom of the Elite material in a while. Come on, man. Don't give out now, bro. Voice, keep going. We're almost there. Man, what a fun 3-year anniversary, am I right, or am I right, guys? Um but yeah, Koji, again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but great dynamics throughout with everybody in the series. Really good character journey, even though it's not finished. Really fascinating character, and incredible monologues. And I loved Volume 0 as well. But I think his best showing is Year 2, Volume 5, and I stand by that. I think it's still the best volume in Classroom of the Elite. I think it has the best chapter in Classroom of the Elite with Suzune Horikita's decision. Wow, Suzune Horikita's decision. What? Why did I like slurred that entire fucking word? Number 2 is Angela from Project Moon. My favorite light thief. She who sought humanity. Angela's an incredible character. I think that uh before I read Project Moon, I figured Natsuki Subaru was number 1 in suffering for me from any character ever. And then I read Lobotomy Corporation and Library of Ruina, and no, it's Angela. At least for now for me. But Angela is a character who, like, I would understand if you don't love Angela, but for me, her character journey is incredible, and her writing is top notch. And it shocked me genuinely as well. Where I know this is heinous to say, I have Angela above Morgana. I don't have her above Beatrice or Jacopo. I don't have her far off from them, but genuinely, what an incredible character, fantastic journey, and yeah, she is the Project Moon. And once listen, because I know that this is gonna happen eventually. Once we get the Angela ID for Faust, dude, I'm a new man. I'm a new fucking man. And I think what's even better too is that I expect that if anybody gets a Roland ID, it'll be Heathcliff, which is literally my two favorite sinners, getting my two favorite Project Moon characters. Oh my god. Again, this is years, and I do mean years out, but still, I'm expecting it. But number one, my favorite fictional character will shock you. It's Monica. Obviously. Come on. Um, I'm debating on what I want to say about Monica here. So, I think that I've been rather cagey when it comes to talking about Monica, specifically because of the notion that I plan to make a video really dissecting my thoughts on Monica as a character. And I will say that too. For anybody who's still listening to this, it's been 2 hours, and the audio is probably not the greatest. But if you've been listening to this, I think you deserve to hear this. I 100% plan to make a Monica video this year. I specifically intend for it to release on both my birthday and Monica's birthday because September 22nd is the year I was born. It's also going to be my 22nd birthday. September 22nd, it's my 22nd birthday. And I really want to make it a big thing, and I really want to like really make this big Monica analysis video. And so obviously I'll be detailing a lot of my thoughts over there. But I also feel that I've been like almost leading it on of like, Monica's my favorite, but I'll never tell you why. So I do want to get into it a little bit is what I've decided. Monica. So I mean, I guess I'll get this part out of the way. The whole my wife stuff is completely a joke. I don't care about that shit, man. She's my favorite fictional character. Um, the most interesting aspect of Monica's character to me is the discussion of free will, because Monica. Fuck. Okay. I'm gonna spoil Doki Doki Literature Club for anybody who cares, because I'm not gonna be able to not talk about this. So if you don't want to get DDLC spoilers, I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm gonna spoil it now. Go read DDLC and then come back. Like, go do it. It's a great series. I've read it. Oh God, probably close to like 7, 8 times, and I'm probably due for a reread sometime this year. But oh, well, not even. I will be doing a reread of the DLC this year because I'm gonna make that Monica video. Um, on the topic of free will in relation to Monica, Monica believes that she has free will, that she has a level of autonomy above the other Dokis, that she carved her path. This is what I find so fascinating about Monica, is that she's fucking wrong. Like, she's just genuinely wrong here. That's not the case at all. Monica does not have free will. Monica, does not matter how many times you boot up the game, Monica will always make the exact same choice and end the exact same way. And that realization is it recontextualizes a lot for me. Where, like, to be honest, the first time I read the game, I took her at her word of like, oh well, yeah, Monica, she has free will. That's cool. But like, the more that I pondered on it, and the more that I reread it, like, no, she doesn't. And I think that's even more shown with the just Monica scene towards the end of the game. Like in Act 3 when it's just you and Monica in the classroom. Like, in theory, there is an infinite amount of things to talk about. But Monica only knows so much because it's all that she's programmed to know. And I think that that genuinely does kind of relate to our world as well, where there are let's take for example like I don't know, Vietnamese cuisine. I don't know jack shit about Vietnamese cuisine. I'm sorry. I'm sure it's delicious. Um but neither does Monica. And that's why Monica, throughout all of her dialogue, will never mention that. Or will never mention that. It's something that she's not privy to. And it's the same way that she's not privy to like skiing down a mountain. Like she's programmed to only know what she knows. And like to me that's fascinating. That's really fascinating. Especially with her like fully believing in this idea that she has free will despite the fact that she so obviously does not. Like I don't know, that's to me that aspect is why I view Monica as one of the greatest depictions of existentialism is because Monica's character really centers around this idea of her own existence and what her existence means. And I find it incredible. So I'll talk about that a lot in the actual Monica video whenever I get around to doing that. Which, oh man, what'll come first? The top 100 series video or the Monica video? Genuinely, it better be the fucking top 100 series video. Genuinely, I want to get that shit done. But that's it. That's my top 100 unscripted. That took so long. And again, I'm not gonna edit the audio, so this is just what the audio is. What I'm planning to do is because I'm gonna record Black Ops 2 Zombies gameplay, which fuck, I have to do 2 hours of that. Maybe I'll do like a pack a punch challenge on town where I just have to pack a punch all the guns in one game, but we'll see. Um, I did want to do this real quick. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip the screen from what you've been seeing the whole time to this. Oh, I need to zoom out a little bit. This, huzzah! Can I wait? Is that okay? That's fine. Yes, this is my spreadsheet. So this is what I did. Is I took all of these characters, a lot of characters, and I broke them up into tiers, color tiers. You can see like this here. It's my color grade. It does like the tiers genuinely don't mean anything. It's just kind of like a gut feeling of like what tier I believe they would be in. And then I ranked them like within the tiers, right? Pretty easy, pretty standard stuff. Then what I did, and this is 100 characters right here. So this is what my top 100 characters were before I made this. That's why like Kakadu, Mikkel, Shoya, Chongli, Hisao, Katagiri, and Morgana are all not in it anymore. Oh, Jing Liu too, but don't worry about her. Um, I'm sure there's like somebody else just like randomly here that's like, oh my god, where the fuck are they? But what I ended up doing is I ran a random number generator to get 20 sequences of 5 numbers, and that gave me this. So afterwards, or after I got those groups, I would break it down and I would rank them within their 5. So that's how you get this. That's so simple, so simple, right? Again, this is why I say I took this way too fucking seriously, bro. I took it way too seriously. But generally, what I would expect to happen is like in here in this grouping with the Monica group, right? So it should be pink, green, yellow, orange, and it should stay that way all the way around. And then I combined these two tiers and these two tiers and these like or the groupings. I combined the groupings to make 10. Ta-da! And these ones are bold now for some reason. But I want to find like here we go, Lucia. But when I was going through and combining them, I realized, or Ishmael's another one right over here, where I realized that like here's more of them where they didn't always follow the trend, and that's what was really fascinating to me personally when I was going through doing this. And then I just combined these two, and these, and all that. Why is this the only one that's not bold? Sorry, this is really going to bother me if I don't fix this. You know, it literally doesn't matter. So then I did rounds of 20, and I got these final 5 lists, and then I just chipped away at the bottom. Is how I did it. But again, like even in these lists, like you'll see, like even though this one right here is like perfectly ordered, this one's not fucking perfectly ordered. This one's not perfect. This one's not perfect, and this one's not perfect. So the only thing that really stayed the same was that my top tier was always on the top because I knew that I like my top 16 was definitively my top 16. Like I said, like so Hiyori is the gatekeeper. And then I merged all of them. So this is what I've been looking at. This is why it was zoomed in actually. Um, this is what I've been looking at the entire time I've been talking, so that I would know who was next. But yeah, so that's all of them. And then the reason that like these ones are white, like Yuna, Glaya, Mary, Charlotte, Gregor, Rhodia, Titus, and Charles, is just because like I didn't, I did the ranking beforehand. Um, I don't know what sheet 4 is. But yes, I did do the exact same thing with the series down here, as you can see. And no, I will not be showing those. I will not be showing those at all. Um but yeah, 3 years I've been doing YouTube, guys. Genuinely thank you for all the support that you guys have given me throughout these 3 years. Um can't believe I'm even doing this. Um Edit wise, Yuki versus Don Quixote and Charles versus Charlotte are the next 2 on the agenda. I'll probably do the Charles versus Charlotte one next. I think that's the plan. And then long form video wise, the Minecraft Survivor Season 1 player ranking is definitely next. Then it'll be the April media video. Um and genuinely it might be the Rorema, the Minecraft Survivor Season 2 review, because genuinely like I had a lot of fun doing the review. Even though it was a pain in the ass for a particular aspect of it, but don't worry about it. I think that's all though. So thank God I can stop talking after 2 hours and 12 minutes. And yeah, 3 more years, guys, huh? God, I genuinely next year, 2027, I'll remember and I'll do another Q&A. I hope. But yeah, that is all that I have for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. And as always, take care, y'all.